Hey, Whippersnaps, this is Tortimer the Great. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Pokemon Showdown Little Cup Tortiment. Today, we are actually going to be taking part in watching some Consolation bracket battles, because I don't currently have any more Elite 8 battles for you guys. Still waiting on Klungar and Scad and Red Wolf and Epic Big Nick to get together and get new battles there. But we do have a Consolation bracket battle for you guys, which will be just as good, because as I've stated in the past, the Consolation bracket is not just for fun. The Consolation bracket, because this is a dual elimination tournament, the Consolation bracket, if you're in the Consolation bracket, the winner of that bracket is going to have the chance to still claim the title of the tournament. You're not out of it. You just get moved into a different bracket. You still have a chance to win this whole thing, at least until you lose a second time. It's a double elimination tournament, so between, I guess our competitors today, I should say, is between SeleneElenor and Neurion. And so the loser of today's battles will be out of the tournament entirely, but the winner will move on. And actually, SeleneElenor or Neurion, whoever wins today, will be battling the loser of either Klungar or Scad. So in the Elite 8, the loser between Klungar and Scad will come into the bracket here and take them on. So let's see who between SeleneElenor and Neurion is going to be taking the right to move on in the Consolation bracket and take on either Klungar or Scad. Here we go. Alrighty guys, battle number 1. Neurion leads off with Litwick as SeleneElenor leads off with Clawstripe, and the Rock Slide's going to land, doing good damage to the Litwick and getting the flinch there. Neurion going to bring Litwick out and bring in Shellos, who's going to take that Rock Slide a lot better. And the Stealth Rock goes up as Shellos throws up the Surf. Surf not going to be enough to kill Clawstripe, even with super effective. So SeleneElenor is going to switch out and bring in the Fungus. Fungus is going to take that Surf very well, forcing out the Shellos, bringing Inkay in, who's going to get Spored and going to go to sleep, at which point Inkay switches out, Snover then switches in, Snow Warning going to pop up, and the Giga Drain going to do decent damage in combination with the rocks at least, and Snowvore is going to get throw up the Giga Drain itself. Must not have any ice moves on Snover there, unfortunately, so Snover's going to go down from Neurion, at which point Litwick's going to come in, take hard damage from the rocks, and SeleneElenor is going to switch in the Growlithe, who's going to take resisted damage there, not do a whole lot, and Litwick going to go down to either Life Orb or Hail there. Shellos will then, at that point, switch in, take a Wild Charge from Luna, the Growlithe, and throw up the Recover, getting some of that health back. Shellos is a pretty good Pokemon to have in Little Cup. It seems a lot of you guys using that in this tournament, and really bulky, decent power, so a good choice for you guys. I really need to try that out. The nice thing for me about commentating all of these battles is it's not just me doing all this battling. I get to see a lot of you guys using a lot of different Pokemon, which is really cool because it gives me some cool ideas for teams to try in the future, which I'm pretty excited about doing. Even though my attempt at trying new teams ended me in the Consolation bracket, but we'll not get into that. So Axew's going to throw up the superpower on the Fungus. Funguses are way too bulky, and that's going to be resisted thanks to the poison typing. So get the Spore up, Axew goes to sleep, and Clawstripe going to come back in. Neurion going to switch back into Shellos, who's going to take an Earthquake and go down there. Clawstripe getting killed there. Aron then switching in. Unfortunately, Sturdy gone because of the rocks, and Aron's going to go down to the Earthquake. Axew then switches back in and is going to be asleep still. Neurion's final Pokemon going down to an Earthquake from Clawstripe. So battle number 1 going to SeleneElenor. Let's see what happens at battle number 2. Here we go. Alrighty guys, battle number 2. Neurion switched up his team, going with Onix on the leadoff, Clawstripe coming in again for SeleneElenor, both getting the rocks up, and then Onix switching on out, bringing in Finneon, who's going to take that Earthquake, survive it, but unfortunately not survive the rapid spin, and going to go down as Clawstripe removes the rocks. Chikorita then comes in. Chikorita is a pretty decently bulky little Pokemon, but the Energy Ball is not going to do him much, even with the crit against the Fire-type Growlithe, so switching out, bringing in Slugma. The Flare Blitz landing, even with resisted, doing a ton of damage there, and not even a crit. So yeah, rough play there for Slugma, going down to Luna, at which point Luna's going to be forced out by the Onix coming in, the Ancient Power landing on the Fungus, but not going to be able to do a lot. Dragon Pulse similarly not doing much, as Fungus is going to one-shot the Onix there, probably thanks to Sturdy getting broken by the rocks. Chikorita then comes in at that point. It's going to start throwing up screens. Light screen in effect there, Luna switching in, intimidating the Chikorita, getting toxic, and going to switch out the Chikorita there as Luna throws up a Flare Blitz. Probably not the best move for Neurion there, switching in somebody when you know a Fire-type move is coming, but probably expected he needed Chingling a little bit more, but unfortunately Chingling's going to go down as well, leaving Neurion with just Chikorita up against the majority of SeleneElenor's team, and Phantos comes in, gonna take the Energy Ball, no trouble, get the Gyro Ball off, doing decent damage to the Chikorita, and then the Shadow Sneak's gonna come in and finish off. So, yeah, good battles there. In 2 battles, SeleneElenor is gonna take out Neurion, knocking Neurion fully out of the tournament, and moving on into the next phase. So, yeah, that will move SeleneElenor into the next phase. I don't really have round names for the consolation bracket, but moving on, and we'll be taking on the loser of either Klungar or Scad when those battles are completed. That'll be a very interesting battle because Selene is a tough competitor. There's no shame in Neurion going down to her. I'm surprised she went out as early as she did in the main bracket, but I think she's slated to make some good work in this bracket. And her next battle is going to be very interesting. Either Klungar or Scad are very tough competitors, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that, as I will be interested to see what comes out of the Scad-Klungar battle. But that's going to be it for us today, guys. So SeleneElenor moves up again. We're still waiting on a couple of battles from the Elite 8. You guys can check in the description down below. There's a link to a Google Doc that has the bracket. So if you're not sure who your opponents are supposed to be or whatever, if you currently have an opponent assigned, you can be doing your battles. So even though you're in the consolation bracket, I know I had said for a while there, oh, we're going to hold off on doing consolation bracket stuff until we're a certain point in the champion bracket, but that's just not going to make sense. So make sure you're getting your battles in. David Kahn versus Codeman, GBL4 Turtles versus Fabe, J-Seed versus Arctic Animal. You guys can be getting those battles going, and we can get the consolation bracket moving along as well. So if you have any questions in that at all, guys, let me know. If you're having difficulty getting hold of an opponent, let me know. I can't really help. So like Epic Big Nick reached out to me because him and Red Wolf were having difficulty scheduling. If you're able to communicate with the person and you guys just can't find a time, there's really nothing I can do about that. You guys need to talk to each other and figure out times to get together. If you are having issues where like your time zones are in such conflict that you are like opposite ends of the world or something, try and come up with some sort of compromise. I know fitting your whole lives around it is difficult. I'm not asking you to do that, but in one instance to get in a couple of battles, it may be something you're going to have to do. And or if you guys are not going to do it, talk amongst yourselves, figure out who you think wants to move on in the tournament. If one of you guys just doesn't really care, we need to figure out this, and I don't want to do it just like a coin flip, but if at a certain point, if you guys can't figure out a way to meet up, I can't really force that. Like, if you're in communications, you're talking to each other, there's nothing else I can help with. Like, figure out some time in your schedule, get that working. Otherwise, we're going to go to a coin flip or something at a certain point, and we'll move on in the tournament. And that's not just for Epic Big Nick and Red Wolf, that's for anybody. If you guys are communicating and just can't agree on a time to meet up, at a certain point, we got to move on. I don't want this tournament series carrying on forever. And so we'll eventually start making some of those moves to continue on in the tournament. So just keep that in mind. Get in touch with your opponents. Let me know that you're in touch with your opponents. So like David Kahn, Codeman, GBL4 Turtles, Fabe, J-Seed, and Arctic Animal. Let me know that you guys are in touch and trying to schedule. And hopefully, we can get this thing going. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. A special thank you goes out again to SeleneElenor and Neurion for participating in today's battles, for taking the time out to meet up with each other and get those going. Again, SeleneElenor moving on into the next round of the consolation bracket. Thank you so much for participating, Neurion, and for putting up awesome battles for us to watch. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Tortiment the Gray, and you guys have been great. Make sure to leave those likes, comments, subscriptions for me, guys, and I'll see you all back here next time. Alrighty, guys, have a good one.